Detective Cole Harrison had arrested approximately 247 criminals in his 12-year career with the Frontier Police. Smugglers, thieves, con artists, the occasional murderer. He'd seen it all. But he'd never arrested anyone quite like Lissa Valkesh. The Veltharian woman sat across from him in the interrogation room of Station Outpost 7, her orange skin glowing softly in the harsh fluorescent lighting, her blonde hair falling in perfect waves despite having been caught mid-heist in a luxury cargo bay. Her amber eyes studied him with an intensity that was either calculating her next move or deliberately trying to unsettle him. Probably both. "So," Cole said, reviewing the charges on his data pad. Breaking and entering, attempted theft of classified Federation technology, resisting arrest, assaulting an officer. "I didn't assault you," Lissa interrupted, her voice like honey and smoke. "I brushed against you while attempting to escape. There's a difference. You knocked me down a flight of stairs. You were in my way." She leaned forward, and Cole forced himself not to notice the way her ceremonial clothing, clearly expensive, clearly stolen, moved with her. "Besides, you're not injured." Humans are remarkably resilient. Cole met her gaze steadily. "You're looking at 15 to 20 years in a Federation prison, Ms. Valkesh. This isn't a game. Everything's a game, detective. The question is whether you're playing to win or just going through the motions." Her smile was predatory. "Which one are you?" Before Cole could answer, alarms started blaring throughout the station. "Warning," the automated system announced. "Solar storm approaching. All personnel to emergency shelters." Lockdown protocol initiated in 60 seconds. Cole swore under his breath. Solar storms in this sector were brutal and unpredictable. Station Outpost 7 was a small facility, barely more than a way station, and its shielding was marginal at best. "Move," he ordered Lissa, grabbing her arm and pulling her from the interrogation room. "Where are we going?" "Reinforced holding cells. They're the only rooms rated for this kind of storm." Cole was already running through the station's layout in his head. Most of the cells were full with the regular prisoner population. That left one cell, maximum security, built for dangerous prisoners who required isolation. It had one bed. 60 seconds later, Cole shoved Lissa through the reinforced door of cell block 7, cell 1, and followed her inside. The door sealed behind them with a hydraulic hiss that sounded uncomfortably final. The cell was sparse, 10 feet by 12 feet, with a single bed built into the wall, a compact sanitation unit, and absolutely no privacy. The walls were solid durasteel, rated to withstand both prisoner escape attempts and catastrophic environmental events. Outside, Cole could hear the storm beginning to hit, energy crackling against the station's shields. "Cozy," Lissa observed, running her hand along the wall. "How long are we stuck here?" 12 to 18 hours, depending on the storm's duration. Cole positioned himself as far from the bed as possible, which wasn't very far. "The door won't unlock until the all-clear is given, safety protocol. So we're locked in together, one bed, 12 hours minimum." Lissa's smile was absolutely wicked. "Detective, if you wanted to get me alone, you could have just asked." I'm not." Cole stopped, took a breath, forced his professional mask back into place. "This is a safety measure, nothing more. You'll remain on that side of the cell. I'll remain on this side. We'll both survive the storm, and then you'll be processed and transferred to proper Federation custody." "So serious." Lissa settled onto the bed, drawing her legs up beneath her in a way that was entirely too graceful. Tell me, Detective Harrison, do you ever relax, or is that stick up your spine a permanent fixture? I'm a professional law enforcement officer. Relaxation isn't part of the job description. No wonder you look so tense. She patted the bed beside her. Come sit. The floor's going to be uncomfortable for 12 hours. I'll stand. Suit yourself. Cole did stand for approximately 45 minutes. Then his legs started cramping, and he reluctantly lowered himself to sit on the floor, his back against the wall opposite the bed. Lissa watched him with obvious amusement. You know, in Veltharian culture, this level of stubbornness is considered either admirable or idiotic. I haven't decided which you are yet. I'm a cop doing his job. That's all you need to know about me. Oh, I know more than that. Lissa counted on her fingers. 12 years in frontier police, decorated twice for valor, no family to speak of. No romantic relationships in the past 3 years, I checked. You live alone in a habitat barely larger than this cell. You work 60-hour weeks, and your idea of a vacation is taking an extra shift. Cole stared at her. How do you? I research my targets. You've been tracking me for 6 months, detective. Did you really think I wasn't tracking you back? Her smile softened. You're lonely, dedicated to your job because you don't have anything else, and you're trying very hard not to notice that I'm attractive. You're a criminal. I'm a lot of things. Criminal is just one of them. Lissa leaned back against the wall, her pose deceptively casual. Want to know what else I am? Not particularly. I'm a thief, yes, but I only steal from people who have too much and use it for terrible things. The technology I was attempting to acquire tonight, it was going to be sold to weapons manufacturers who would use it to create bombs that don't discriminate between soldiers and civilians. Cole's jaw tightened. That doesn't justify. I know. Breaking the law is breaking the law. But tell me honestly, detective, if you'd known what that technology was for, would you have been so quick to stop me? The question hung in the air between them. Cole wanted to say yes. Wanted to say that law was law, that his personal feelings didn't matter, that justice was blind and absolute. But he'd seen too much in 12 years. Seen too many times when the law protected the powerful and punished the desperate. Seen too many criminals walk free while good people suffered. It doesn't matter what I would have done, he said finally. You broke the law, I arrested you, that's how this works. That's how the system works, Lissa corrected. But you're not the system, Cole Harrison, you're a person, and persons are allowed to have doubts. The storm intensified outside, and the lights flickered. Emergency lighting kicked in, bathing the cell in a soft red glow that made Lissa's orange skin look like molten gold. Why do you do it? Cole found himself asking. If you're so principled about who you steal from, why not work within the system? Use legal means? Lissa laughed, but there was no humor in it. Because the system is broken, detective. You know it is. How many times have you arrested someone you knew was guilty only to watch them walk free because they had the right connections? How many times have you seen good people punished for being in the wrong place at the wrong time? Every day, Cole admitted quietly. But that doesn't mean we stop trying. We work to fix it. You can't fix a system that's designed to protect the powerful. Lissa's amber eyes were intense. But you can work around it, steal from those who have too much, give to those who have too little, make a difference in ways the law never could. That's vigilantism. That's survival. They sat in silence for a while, the storm raging outside, the cell feeling smaller with every passing minute. You're cold, Lissa observed. Cole hadn't realized he was shivering. The cell's heating was minimal, designed to keep prisoners alive but not comfortable, and the storm was dropping the station's temperature even further. "I'm fine. You're a terrible liar." Lissa stood and crossed the cell before Cole could protest. She settled beside him on the floor, close enough that he could feel the heat radiating from her body. "Veltharians run warm. Consider it a peace offering." "I don't need." "Your lips are turning blue, detective. Stop being stubborn and accept help when it's offered." The warmth from her body was immediate and startling. Cole had known intellectually that Veltharians had higher body temperatures than humans, but feeling it was different. It was like sitting next to a perfectly calibrated heating unit. Despite his better judgment, he stopped trying to move away. "There," Lissa said softly. "Was that so hard? You're still under arrest." "I know. But we're also two people trapped in a cell during a solar storm, and hypothermia doesn't care about jurisdiction." She shifted closer. "Tell me about yourself, Cole, the real you, not the detective." "There's no difference." "There's always a difference." Her shoulder pressed against his. "Who were you before you became a cop?" Cole was quiet for a long moment. "A kid who wanted to make a difference, who believed in justice and fairness and protecting people who couldn't protect themselves. And now I'm a cop who's seen too much to be naive but keeps trying anyway. That's not cynicism, detective. That's courage." Cole looked at her, really looked at her, and saw something he hadn't expected. Beneath the criminal exterior, beneath the teasing and the flirting, there was someone who understood. Someone who'd also seen the darkness in the universe and chosen to fight it in her own way. "Why are you telling me this?" he asked. "You know I'm still going to have to process you when we get out of here." "I know, but maybe I want you to understand that not all criminals are monsters. Some of us are just people who found different paths to the same goal." She leaned her head against his shoulder. "And maybe I like you, Cole Harrison. You're honest, principled, kind, even when you're arresting someone. You're trying to manipulate me. Maybe, is it working?" Cole's arm moved of its own accord, wrapping around her shoulders to pull her closer against the cold. "No comment." Lissa smiled against his shoulder. The hours passed slowly. They talked about everything and nothing: Cole's childhood on Earth, Lissa's upbringing on Velthar Prime, his reasons for becoming a cop, her reasons for becoming a thief. They debated philosophy and morality, argued about justice and mercy, and somewhere around hour 7, Cole realized he was enjoying himself. More than enjoying himself, he was connecting with someone in a way he hadn't in years. "This is a problem," he muttered. "What is?" "This. You, the fact that I'm supposed to hate you and instead He trailed off. "Instead you're seeing me as a person." Lissa lifted her head to look at him. "That's not a problem, Cole, that's progress. You're a criminal, I'm a cop. There's no scenario where this works. Who says it has to work long term? We're here now together, why not just be present for it?" Before Cole could answer, Lissa kissed him. It was soft, tentative, giving him every opportunity to pull away. Cole knew he should. Knew this was crossing about 17 different professional lines. He kissed her back anyway. When they finally broke apart, Cole was breathing hard. "This is a mistake." "Probably," Lissa agreed. "Do you care?" "I should." "But do you?" Cole looked into her amber eyes and realized the answer was no. For 12 years, he'd lived by the rules, followed protocol, kept himself distant and professional. And where had it gotten him? Alone in a small habitat, working himself to exhaustion, with nothing to show for it but a commendation and a lot of regrets. "The bed's going to be more comfortable," he said quietly. Lissa's smile was brilliant. "Is that your way of asking me to?" Yes, but we're still talking, just talking. Of course, just talking. They made it to the bed. They even started with talking, curled together under the thin prison blanket, sharing warmth and stories and the kind of intimacy that came from absolute honesty in the face of absurd circumstances. But somewhere around hour 10, talking turned to touching, and touching turned to kissing, and kissing turned to something that Cole would definitely not be including in his official report. When the all-clear finally sounded at hour 14, Cole and Lissa were tangled together in the narrow bed, the blanket pooled around their waists, their breathing slowly returning to normal. "So," Lissa said, tracing patterns on his chest. "What happens now?" Cole stared at the ceiling, trying to reconcile his duty with what he was feeling. "Officially, I process you, you get transferred to Federation custody, you stand trial. And unofficially, Cole turned to look at her. Unofficially, I'm going to make sure you get the best legal representation available. I'm going to testify that you cooperated fully during custody, and I'm going to recommend that the court consider your motivations and targets when determining sentencing." Lissa's eyes widened. "You're going to help me? I'm going to make sure you get a fair trial. There's a difference." Cole brushed a strand of blonde hair from her face. "But I'm also going to visit you, wherever they send you. Because this, whatever this is, it's not over. Detective Harrison, are you saying you have feelings for me? I'm saying you've made me question everything I thought I knew about justice and morality. I'm saying you've shown me that the world isn't black and white. And I'm saying," he pulled her closer, "I'm saying I want to see where this goes, even if it's complicated and messy and probably a terrible idea." Lissa kissed him softly. "Best terrible idea I've ever had." 6 months later, Cole stood outside the minimum security facility where Lissa was serving her sentence, reduced to 3 years, thanks to testimony about her targets and her cooperation with authorities. She'd been instrumental in bringing down a major weapons trafficking ring, using her knowledge of the criminal underworld to help law enforcement in ways Cole never could have alone. She emerged from the visiting area, her orange skin glowing in the afternoon sun, her smile bright enough to light up the entire facility. "Miss me?" she asked. "Every day," Cole admitted, pulling her into his arms for the precious hour they were allowed together. "Good, because I've been thinking when I get out of here I might need a job, and I happen to know a certain detective who could use a consultant, someone who understands how criminals think." Cole laughed. "Are you seriously suggesting I hire you?" "I'm suggesting we work together, use our different perspectives to actually make a difference." Lissa's expression turned serious. "You taught me that the law can be just when applied with compassion. Let me teach you that sometimes the best way to fight darkness is to understand it from the inside." Cole thought about the cases they'd already solved together, Lissa providing insight from her cell, Cole working the legal angles. They made a good team, unlikely as it was. "Partners," he offered. "Partners," Lissa agreed, "in crime fighting and everything else." As they walked the facility's grounds during their allotted time, Cole reflected on that night in the cell. One bed, one impossible situation, and an alien woman who'd refused to let him hide behind his professional distance. She'd been right about one thing. Everything was a game. The question was whether you played to win or whether you played for something better. Cole had found his answer, and he was never letting go.